My name's Clint Walker. I'm 54 now, born and raised in Pennsylvania. Still live pretty close to the place I grew up. I've got 2 adult kids, a wife, and a basset hound named Buddy, who destroys anything soft if I leave him alone too long. I love old pickups, strong black coffee, and minor league baseball games. I'm a simple guy with simple tastes. I worked security long before I joined this museum. Over 20 years now. I've guarded just about every kind of site you can imagine: hospitals, job sites, banks, even a pharmaceutical lab once. Boring stuff. Long corridors, endless locked doors, absolutely no action. I've paced the floor at concerts and stood post for high-ranking politicians. I was reliable, still am, but nothing before this prepared me for this job. I remember the ad. It was in the back of some local paper, one of those half-page classifieds with odd listings. It read, "Night guard needed. Must stay calm in tough situations. Great pay. No supernatural experience necessary. Apply face-to-face." Strange wording, I thought. Seemed like a joke. But I needed a paycheck. My oldest had just started college, and I didn't want him buried in student debt. So I circled the ad in red, drove down next day, and parked in front of a stone gray building hidden between 2 untrimmed parks. Looked like some government facility. Quiet, chilly, lifeless. I figured it might be an archive, a vault for old blueprints or worn-out maps. But I was wrong. Ivy crept over the stone, and a bronze sign at the door said, "The Museum of Monstrous Natural History." I laughed. That's clever. Probably got a plaster Bigfoot print and a few alien drawings inside. But once I stepped in, it was different. I got hired quick. They didn't ask much, just handed me a clipboard, took my fingerprints, and had me sign a thick stack of papers I barely skimmed. While I waited in the lobby, they ran a background check. 15 minutes later, I was handed a key card, a uniform, and a start date. That same night. That was 23 years ago. I haven't missed a single shift since. If you're reading this, that means it's your turn. New night guard. Congrats. You passed the test, cleared the check, and nodded at the rules without asking any real questions. That's the trick. You're not meant to ask. I'll level with you right now. This gig pays more than anything else out there for folks like us. Health insurance, full pension, danger bonus every few months. You stay a year, they hand you a room upstairs. You last 5 years, they erase your debt and offer you beachfront retirement. But that pay, it's not charity. You showed up tonight with those stiff new boots and that blank stare I've seen on all newbies. That "what did I just agree to" face. Don't worry, it fades. You won't look new for long. I watched you on the cameras for about an hour before I came down. That's my process. Helps me figure out how someone moves. You're jumpy, but you follow orders. You didn't stray. You kept to the lit walkways and didn't touch a thing, and that's smart. You'd be shocked how many new hires treat this place like it's a haunted house. It's not. This place, it's a lockbox. Every exhibit, every skull, every vial, every shred of folklore locked behind glass, all of it's real. Not metaphorical, not based on some tale. It's real. The vampire skull in Hall B belonged to a creature that drank 37 people's blood before dying in a fire. That fairy wing they filmed TikToks with, torn off a dying being from some deep Irish swamp. It twitched for hours before iron stopped it. We don't show myths here, we cage dangers. The public thinks it's all a stage. They laugh, snap photos, run wild like it's Halloween every day. We let them. The less they believe, the safer they stay. But you you need to get this. You're not here to amuse, you're here to obey the rules. And the rules are what stop things from noticing you. You already agreed to all of it in writing. That clipboard had a purpose. You signed at the bottom. That means you stick to protocol. Every last step, no excuses, no shortcuts, no guesswork, no foolish bravery. There's no space here for heroes. Your shift begins at 10 p.m. sharp. You stay put until 6 a.m. with no exceptions. Sweep the museum every 90 minutes using the authorized route. Never step into an exhibit unless it's marked with a green card. Yellow means off limits. Red means sealed. Never open it. If you find a red labeled door ajar, don't enter. Use your radio to call me. Then wait. There's a list posted on the wall inside the security office. You've seen it. White sheet, black print. That list is gospel. It changes sometimes. Don't ask who alters it. Don't ask why something appears or vanishes. Just stick to it. Now here's my first real tip. Don't waste effort trying to make sense of this place. You won't. You can't. The rules feel random. The hallways shift when no one's watching. Lights flicker even with fresh bulbs. It's not a malfunction. That's just the way it works. You're not here to understand. You're here to keep breathing. The rule book they handed you is thick. 50 pages, tight font, no table of contents. You won't finish it tonight. That's fine. That's why I'm here. My job is to guide you through the critical ones, the ones that keep you alive till dawn. We'll go slow. Just stay focused and don't skip anything. You'll be on your feet most nights anyway, so we might as well begin. Come on, let's move while we talk. I'll show you a few things as we pass. Stay with me, and don't lay a hand on anything. First rule. You likely walked past the fairy wing before meeting me. It's beautiful, done up like a forest, whimsical and bright. Tourists love to stop there for selfies. Looks peaceful, almost enchanted. But deeper in this place lies something darker I need to explain. Let's head for the back halls. It's a narrow hallway labeled Authorized Personnel Only. You're cleared now. That badge on your chest? You earned it. Whether you last long enough to need a new one, that depends on how well you stick to the rules. Here's rule 1, the very first I learned when I started, and still the most vital rule in this whole museum. Never, under any condition, open a crate sealed with red wax. That's it. No excuses, no curiosity. If you spot one, stop whatever you're doing and call collection security. There's a number taped in every vault room. Use it. Then leave the room and wait. Don't even touch the crate. Don't try reading the label. Don't linger near it more than a moment. I've seen 5 in 23 years. Just 5. That's more than most ever will. Those crates, they come from other agencies we work with. Yeah, real teams exist. Their job is to track, capture, and contain things that shouldn't be walking around. Most people never hear a word about it. Silent missions, top secret. But those teams are out there, and when they find something that can't be destroyed nor shouldn't be, they send it here. Sometimes it's just bones, nothing harmful. Sometimes it's dried remains from creatures long dead. Sometimes it's shattered relics kept apart for a reason. We've got experts who handle all that. But red wax? That's a different deal. It's not there for show. It's a code, a final warning. Red wax means somebody, somewhere, already tried everything else. Boxing it was their last shot at safety. You're probably wondering why we even accept this stuff. Why not burn it? Why not lock it a mile deep or toss it in the sea? because sometimes destruction makes them stronger. Some come back if you try to kill them, or if you speak the wrong phrase near them. A few are bound to places, others stir when touched or jostled. So we seal them up tight, cover them with binding spells, mark them with symbols I couldn't understand if I wanted to, and they get delivered here to walls lined with neutralizing stone, layered in silver mesh, packed with salt and iron. A red wax crate means it's either holding something that seems dead but isn't, or something very alive, restrained so tight it can't even twitch. Doesn't matter which one, you don't open it, you don't peek inside, you don't lean in close to hear breathing, you don't tug the lid or test the edges. That wax seal? It's all that separates our world from what's inside. Your curiosity? It's a gamble with your life, and with everyone else's. We had an incident back in 2011. Burned into my memory, new recruit, barely 19, maybe 20, was working admin upstairs, nothing to do with vault access or crate handling, but some shipments got rerouted due to renovations. They were left in the intake corridor for 12 minutes. Just 12. That's all it took. Kid walked by, spotted the crate, maybe thought the label was wrong, or figured the wax was just a prop. A little theatrical flair. He grabbed a crowbar and pried it open. Didn't even get the lid off. Just broke the seal slightly, enough for air to get in. Afterward, we found only part of the crowbar, melted into slag, and a tooth jammed 6 inches into the drywall, small, jagged, like a shark's, but twisted. As for the kid, nothing, not a single drop left. Cleanup lasted a week. No one brings it up now. The official file calls it transport error. But ask any collections tech, they'll all say the same thing. He opened a crate with red wax. Now, if you ever encounter one, and God willing you won't, here's what you'll see. Dark wood, nearly black. Thick iron hinges. The red wax, it'll wrap around completely, and it'll smell odd, metallic, with a sour bite. Don't sniff it, don't touch it, and don't think a quick glance won't hurt. There's no such thing as just a peek with red wax. Some of them hum, not loud, but deep enough you'll feel it in your bones. That's not your nerves playing tricks. That means it knows you're there. That means you're already too near. The collection crew wears full gear just to stand nearby. Suits lined with mirrored fiber, masks woven with silver thread filters. Still, they take turns. Nobody lingers. Some crates get tagged for transfer. Some go to deep vaults. The worst ones? They're never moved again. You won't need to worry about those. Not tonight. Tonight's walk is for orientation only, letting your eyes adjust to the dim edges, letting your gut learn to dismiss flickers just out of view. But more than that, it's to help you understand one brutal truth. This place isn't safe. It's supervised, and there's a difference. Safety implies control. Supervision just means the threat hasn't broken loose yet. So if you ever stumble across a crate sealed in red wax, don't be brave. Don't be nosy. Don't even breathe near it more than needed. Just walk away and let the team with the armor and the nerve handle it. Anyway, you've cleared the front hall, the ferry wing, and the rear passage. So far, you're doing fine. Nothing's broken. Nothing unexplainable has crossed your path. That's usually how it begins. Calm, almost dull. But don't relax. Here's the second rule. It's short, but hard to accept. If you spot a child sleeping in the ferry room, never wake them. You'll feel compelled to help. That's normal. We're built to care. You'll see a small shape tucked under flickering lights, maybe in a school coat or old hoodie, and you'll assume some kid wandered off. You'll guess a tour group left them. You'll picture them hiding when the lights dropped. That's the illusion. But it's no child, not anymore. Obey this rule or you won't last past week 1. If you find one still as stone, head slightly tilted, hair too perfect, skin too pale, don't go near. Don't speak to them. Don't step forward to ask if they're okay. Don't whisper. Just seal the exhibit doors. And then call me. Not security, not the main desk. Me. The child is not what it seems. It's something left behind. In old European myths, they called them changelings, beings placed where a real child once was. Sometimes they're masks. Sometimes the child is taken, and this thing left to trick the world. In the old tales, parents caught on too late. They glance into the crib and notice strange eyes or a silence too deep or laughter that didn't belong. We don't encounter many changelings here. They're uncommon. But when they do arrive, they always end up in the fairy wing. We still don't know why. That wing's filled with fragile things. Wings in glass, bottled golden pollen, strands of hair from woodland folk. But when one of those sleep things appears, it's never locked away. Always just lying there, nestled near silk blossoms or leaned against carved roots. It always looks exactly like a child, but it's not. The eyes betray it every time. When they open, and they will open, if you're too near or say a word, they're pitch black. No iris, no whites. Just a void that's darker than the dark. If you're unlucky and see that moment, don't shout. Don't flee. Don't look into them. That's not a battle you can win. The old stories claim they smell compassion. They feel out the ones who care, and they exploit that. Not by force, but by confusion. They twist perception, say familiar names, speak with trusted voices. Sometimes they weep. It's a trick. The real kid might still be alive somewhere. That's why we call in the hunters and the specialists. They know ways, hidden paths, old rites, deals in ancient groves. We don't. Our task is to seal the zone and stay out of their way. We're watchers, never saviors. Remember that, not heroes. Outside the fairy wing, bolted to the wall, is a small steel box. You'll spot it on your next round. Inside, it's a coil of iron wire bundled neatly and measured just right. Take that wire, unwind it slow, and lay a circle around the room's edge. Not the creature, not the exhibit. The room. Make sure the loop is unbroken. That part matters more than you think. Iron binds them in. Salt may work too, but we keep that for the tougher cases. Fairies hate iron. It scorches them, scrambles them, keeps them from seeping through the seams. Once the iron circle is set, you leave. Shut the door behind you and don't turn around. By morning, it'll be gone. It always vanishes. And if it doesn't, we bring in containment. Do not speak to it, not even if it calls your name, especially if it calls your name. One guy back in 2004 didn't follow that rule. He was new, the friendly type. Heard a voice from the exhibit, thought a child had been locked in overnight. He walked in, talked to it, asked questions. We never saw him again. All they found was his lanyard, neatly hanging on the edge of the display case, and a note scrawled in what looked like charcoal. "I've gone home," it said. His real home? Nowhere in our records. Background checks turned up nothing. Birth certificate erased from the system. It was like he'd been rewritten. That's what they do. Fairy lore isn't all sparkles and wings. The old stories are full of warnings about respect, silence, and boundaries. They don't think like us. They don't care about rules, laws, or decency. They have their own systems, their own sense of fairness, offer nothing, take nothing, speak nothing. The fairy wing feels peaceful, almost too peaceful. Most nights it's quiet. Still, visitors love it. Kids take photos, couples hold hands by the glowing petals and soft crystal lights. But every now and then, you'll walk by and see something out of place. A small shoe, a curled hand, a soft breathing sound. You might even smell lilacs, even though we haven't used scent machines in years. Don't be fooled. Remember Rule 2, and remember it well. If you see a sleeping child in the fairy wing, it is not a child. Don't talk to it, don't touch it, and for the love of God, don't wake it up. Rule number 3. Some rules are meant to save you from fatal mistakes. They're strict because if you break them, something dangerous either escapes or gets in. Other rules don't protect you from harm, but guide you to the little bits of help left in this place. Those are rarer, but they matter just as much. This rule falls into the second category. If you ever see a black cat in the museum, jet black from ears to tail, with a distinct patch of white fur under its chin, shaped exactly like a bow tie, you stop whatever you're doing and follow it. It doesn't matter what time it is, which wing you're in, or how odd the situation seems. The moment you see him, you follow without hesitation, no second guessing. We call him Bow Tie. That's not just a nickname. It's the only name that stuck through the years. He's not listed in any official museum records, not on any staff logs or animal control reports, but we've all seen the footage. His image appears clearly, never distorted, never obscured, all the way back to 1947. Same markings, same calm, deliberate stride, always the same cat. Not just the same breed or pattern, but the same cat. There's no official explanation, but the unofficial one dates back to the origins of this building. Before it became a public museum, it was a private collection, the kind people whispered about but never visited. It was owned and curated by a man whose name has been erased from every record. No living person remembers his face. No photo of him survives. All that remains is a sealed office in the sublevels, bolted shut with 14 iron locks and a strange symbol carved into the door, one that no one here has been able to decipher even after all this time. The story goes that the curator disappeared during a live demonstration. It involved a preserved soul vessel from the Philippines, an artifact sealed by a religious order and protected for generations. It was supposed to be a controlled event. It wasn't. Whatever happened that night erased him and most of his staff without a trace. No bodies, no evidence, just a trail of questions and a private collection full of dangerous artifacts. Bowtie vanished the same night. 2 years later, he reappeared, exactly the same, unchanged. Since then, he's only been seen a few times each year. Each sighting has happened just before something almost went wrong. He's not a normal cat, that's obvious, but this place is full of things that defy logic and biology. The working theory among long-term staff is that Bowtie is a familiar spirit, something bound not to the building, but to its purpose. Familiars in old folklore are creatures or spirits that serve a master. When that master dies, some familiars fade while others keep going. If they believe the work isn't finished, they continue with whatever instinct or memory is left. That's Bowtie. He's not serving us, but he's still doing his job. And that job seems to be warning us. Every sighting means something is about to happen. Once, Bowtie sat outside the staff break room for nearly 20 minutes, not moving, just staring at the door. Shortly after he vanished, a boiler line overhead exploded. The scalding water flooded the counter and melted the coffee pot. If the janitor had been there like every other night, he would have been fatally burned. Another time, Bowtie circled the east corridor by the entrance used by school groups. It was just before closing, and no one thought much about it until an old glass display in the fairy wing cracked from within. Nothing escaped, but the artifact inside began making a sound, not music, but something sharp and deep, like a chime being struck wrong. The noise triggered half of the emergency systems. It took a week to secure the area. So when I say he warns us, I don't mean it figuratively. He shows up when something's about to go wrong and gives us a chance to stop it before it begins. That's why this rule exists. It's simple. It doesn't ask you to solve anything or intervene. All you need to do is follow. Don't call anyone. Don't try to snap a picture. Don't try to trap, feed, or talk to him. Just follow. He doesn't run. He walks at a slow, steady pace. You'll be able to keep up. He'll lead you somewhere, a stairwell, a locked door, a vent, even a storage shelf. Where he stops will seem insignificant at first. You might not notice what he's showing you, but something will be wrong, and if you're sharp enough to look closely, you will see it. He's particularly sensitive to children. We don't know why, but whenever a child has gone missing inside the museum, and it's happened more than once, Bowtie has been the one to find them. He won't bring them out, but he'll stay close. He'll meow once. Someone finds him. Then we find the child. Some say he remembers the curator's family. Others believe he once failed to protect someone and has been trying to atone for it ever since. But I don't believe in stories. I believe in outcomes. And every time I've followed him, I've found something needing attention. Something that could have turned into a bigger problem if left unchecked. If you're lucky enough to see him, don't hesitate. Don't think. Don't wait. Just follow. The instant you see him, the countdown begins. He's never appeared without a purpose, not even once. That's rule number 3. If Bowtie shows up, follow, without question. Rule number 4. This last rule isn't about stopping a threat. It's not about reacting to an event or handling some oddity that snuck in from the archives or the forest. It's about respect, not for the staff, not even for the museum itself, but for whatever keeps watch over this place when we're gone. And believe me, something does. You have to leave one thing behind every night before you clock out. Before you hang up your badge or shut your locker, you leave something. Small, personal. Doesn't need to be valuable. Doesn't need to be new. Just something. Most people leave food. That works. Something sweet or bitter. It doesn't matter if it's a wrapped candy or just a sugar cube. Some leave crackers. Instant coffee packets. I knew a woman once who left a single sour plum every night. Neatly placed on a napkin, never missed a shift. She worked 7 years before retiring. Still sends her offering every winter solstice. We call it an offering, a thank you. You're not giving it to anyone directly. There's no collection tray, no donation box. You just leave it in your locker. The top shelf is best, right where your things would sit. The item vanishes sometime between closing and morning. Doesn't matter if the building's locked. Doesn't matter if no one's around. You come back and it's gone. Always. There are never crumbs, never a wrapper left behind. Sometimes the food looks like it was never touched, just gone, like it evaporated from the spot it was in. When I first started, I didn't take this rule seriously. Sounded like a superstition. I thought it was a joke the senior staff told to make the rookies waste their snacks. So I didn't leave anything for the first 3 nights. I figured it didn't matter. On the 4th night, when I opened my locker, every bit of food I'd brought for the shift was ruined. My apple was brown inside. My granola bar smelled sour like chemicals. Even my sealed thermos of coffee had turned into something bitter and metallic. I threw it all away. I thought maybe the fridge was broken or someone had messed with it. But it kept happening, day after day, until finally I left something behind. A single piece of candy from my pocket. Cheap, wrapped, half melted. The next morning, the candy was gone, and my food was fine again. That was the final warning. You see, they don't get violent right away. That's not how it works. First, they mess with you. Just enough to get your attention. You'll find all your food going bad, even the sealed stuff. You'll get thirsty. No matter how much water you drink, something will always feel slightly off. And it'll stay that way until you remember what you owe. If you ignore the signs too long, things escalate. I've seen it happen. One guard forgot his offering for 3 nights straight. On the 4th night, he slipped on the main stairs and broke his wrist in 2 places. There was no water, no obstruction. He said it felt like someone nudged him. Not hard, just enough to throw him off balance. Another guy ended up in the hospital for almost a week, kept complaining about headaches, saying the air in the museum felt wrong, heavy, like it hurt to breathe while inside. Doctors couldn't explain it, but the moment he left the building, the symptoms stopped. First thing he did after being discharged was mail in 3 jars of honey. That was 10 years ago. He's never missed a night since. It's subtle at first. You'll want to brush it off. And that's the mistake. The thing, whatever it is, doesn't yell. It doesn't make demands. It just waits. Waits for you to realize this place isn't normal. And normal rules don't apply. It wants respect. It expects ritual. And when it doesn't get it, it doesn't throw tantrums. It reminds you gently at first, then not so gently. Some of the staff have their own ideas about what we're leaving offerings for. A few think it's the museum itself, that the building is alive in some way, not conscious exactly, but aware. Others think it's something older, something tied to the land this place was built on. It's possible. The records before the 1930s are full of gaps, and the foundation blueprints were drawn by hand. No official signatures. We don't even know who authorized the excavation of the sublevels. They simply exist. The ancient monster taming texts, if you ever find yourself reading through them, speak of rituals like this: offerings placed at boundaries, bread on windowsills, salt in corners, bitter herbs at the base of trees. The concept was always the same. If you respect the boundary, the entity on the other side remains there. And if you don't, well, sometimes the thing on the other side decides it doesn't care for boundaries anymore. It's not complicated. Keep a stash of wrapped candies or tea bags in your pocket, single-serving sugar packets, old mints from the bottom of your coat pocket. Doesn't need to be anything special, just has to be consistent. Every single night. The entity, whatever it is, seems to favor sugar most of all, or bitter things, but nothing spicy, nothing salty. We've tried, and they don't get taken. But sweet or bitter, that's always gone. Some people like leaving notes. I used to do that when I first started. Just a line or two, never anything too long. Little expressions of gratitude like thanks for the quiet night or saw a bow tie again. Hope that was a good sign. I didn't expect a response, and I never got one in the usual sense. But writing them, something about it felt right. Like I was keeping my side of a conversation I didn't quite understand. I did it for about a year, maybe more. Eventually, I stopped. Not because something bad happened, but because it had become a quieter habit. The act of giving itself was enough. The notes always disappeared by morning, just like the offering. But sometimes, something else would show up in their place. Not often, just enough to let you know it wasn't a coincidence. Once, I found a pen I'd lost 3 weeks ago, sitting neatly on a locker shelf. Another time, a small plastic keychain from the gift shop I didn't remember picking up. One morning, there was a single flower petal, flat, pale blue, perfectly preserved, resting exactly where my note had been. Whatever watches over this place doesn't speak, but it understands. It notices the ones who make the effort to say thank you, not because they have to, not because they are scared, but because they want to show respect, because they understand that even a quiet presence deserves recognition. It doesn't happen often. Most staff just leave their offering and hurry out, eager to be finished. I understand that. But for those who take the time to communicate, even in silence, even with ink on paper, the museum listens. And when it feels like it, it answers back. The longer you work here, the more you'll understand that this place is alive in ways you can't quite grasp. That's why this rule matters. Because the moment you forget what this place truly is, it will remind you. And that's the last rule for tonight. There are more, naturally, many more. Some are relevant only during storms. Others are tied to the seasons. A few only come up if the temperature in the West Wing drops below a certain level. You'll learn them, slowly, one at a time, just like we all did. Now, I've got to leave you here for a while. There's a fresh batch of crates and holding, and some don't match the manifest. One's emitting heat, and another reeks of burnt feathers, which is rarely a good sign. I'll need both hands on this paperwork, maybe a fire extinguisher, but I'll keep my phone on in case anything comes up. You've got the number. Use it if needed. And hey, rookie, don't take it personally if I don't rush over every time the lights flicker. If something truly breaks the rules, you'll know. And if you're doing your part, it won't come after you. That's the truth. Simple as it gets. Well, good luck with the rest of your shift. You'll be fine. Keep your flashlight close. Keep your eyes sharp. And whatever you do, don't improvise. Just stick to the routine, all right? The museum likes routine. I'll see you when your shift ends, rookie. And hey, try not to die.